I stand at the kitchen counter, pressing the edges of my homemade cherry pie with hands that know the motion by habit. Through the window, Ohio's summer light spreads across the granite countertop, warming my skin as I work. From the living room comes the usual weekend sounds, the low buzz of baseball commentary, my father's quiet grunt at a bad play, and my mother's voice calling after my nieces. "Careful with that vase." Mom shouts, footsteps quick across the hardwood. "Ashley, can you please watch the girls?" My sister doesn't reply. Instead, her cheerful, businesslike tone fills the air through her phone's speaker. "Ladies, this shawl is 100% cashmere, and we've only got 5 left. VIP members, comment first to reserve yours." I seal the final crimp in the crust and slide the pie into the oven, setting the timer before wiping my hands on the dish towel at my waist. The roasted chicken needs 10 more minutes to rest. The salad's ready in the fridge, dressing separate. Everything timed perfectly for Saturday lunch, like always. "I got a promotion," I announce evenly, not too loud or soft. "Senior clinical specialist. They're transferring me to the Raleigh office. The baseball game hums on." Ashley keeps selling. Mom rushes past the doorway, chasing a giggling 4-year-old. No one looks up. No one answers. I stand still in the kitchen center, feeling my words dissolve into the air like steam. It shouldn't surprise me anymore, this quiet invisibility. Yet somehow it always does. Later, we gather around the dining table, the one with the faint scratch near my spot that I've polished for years but can never quite erase. The food I've spent all morning preparing sits neatly arranged. Golden brown chicken, crisp salad with bright peppers and tomatoes, warm rolls, and the cherry pie cooling on the counter. "This looks wonderful," Dad says to no one in particular. Already reaching for the chicken. "Mom, Lily won't eat her vegetables," Ashley complains, still focused on her phone as she types responses to customers. "Willa, would you cut her chicken smaller?" Mom asks, not waiting for me to answer before turning back to Ashley. "How are sales going today, honey?" I quietly cut Lily's chicken into perfect little squares while answering a question no one asked. The position comes with a 15% raise and a relocation bonus. "I start in 3 weeks," Ashley's phone pings. 2,000 in sales already, she announces, finally looking up. Mom and Dad turn to her immediately, faces lit with the familiar smiles reserved for her wins. "That's great." "Sweetheart," Mom beams. "Smart move taking your shop online," Dad adds approvingly. The warmth of the chicken seeps into my fingers as I plate it for my niece. But inside, there's only a cool emptiness. I recognize it now. Not anger, not sadness, and something in between. A quiet disappointment that feels almost ordinary. Mom glances my way. "There's a spill by the sink. Would you mind?" I clean the spill, serve the pie, wash the dishes. When Ashley's youngest drops his fork, I'm already there with another. When Dad wants more coffee, I refill his cup without being asked. It's the rhythm we've built over years. "They need, I provide." They speak, I respond. They overlook, I accept. This pattern runs deeper than one meal. Last Christmas, I spent 4 days wrapping Ashley's inventory while she attended parties. 3 months ago, I used my vacation time to watch her kids during her fashion expo. 2 weeks before that, I drove Mom to 5 different stores searching for curtains for Ashley's living room. "She has the kids," Mom once said when I mentioned how uneven things felt. "She needs more help than you do." The truth lingers quietly between us, unspoken but understood. Ashley has the kids, the business, the chaos that keeps her center stage. I have nothing that makes me essential, except my willingness to help. After lunch, while Ashley streams her afternoon sale and Mom takes the girls shopping, I sit at the kitchen counter, phone in hand. I open the family chat, fingers hesitating before typing. "Got my official transfer paperwork today. Moving to Raleigh, NC on the 15th. Promotion to senior clinical specialist. Very excited for this opportunity." I hit send, watching the small swoosh animation confirm delivery. One by one, red receipts pop up beside each name in the family chat. Mom, Dad, Ashley, no replies. I drive back to my apartment across town, the sun sinking low behind me. As I unlock the door, my phone pings. For a fleeting moment, hope stirs in my chest. It's a photo from Mom, Ashley's daughter, grinning with cherry filling smeared across her cheeks, eating leftover pie. The caption reads, "Someone couldn't wait for dessert." Another ping follows. This time from Ashley. Just hit $2,000 in sales today. New record. I place my phone face down on the kitchen counter. Standing alone in the quiet of my apartment, a single tear escapes, then another. I don't bother to wipe them away. No one's here to see them. Moving day arrives. The final box slides into the U-Haul, the door closing with a solid thunk, like sealing a chapter. The apartment behind me is bare, emptied of everything but echoes. The movers took the furniture yesterday. My phone buzzes again. Mom's name flashes on the screen. Come home Saturday to watch the kids for your sister. Her live stream has a special sale event. I stare at the screen, fingers drumming against the truck's metal door. 2 weeks since lunch. 2 weeks of silence since I shared my news. And now this. Not a request, but an order. I type back, I can't. I'm going to North Carolina today. No apology. No explanation. Just the truth. Sliding the phone into my pocket, I climb into the driver's seat. The engine hums beneath my hands as I start the journey. 3 states to cross before nightfall. An oldies station plays on the radio. The Temptations singing about how things used to be. Miles blur into memories. My 8th birthday. Mom rushing everyone outside for cake because Ashley, 12 then, had friends over and needed the living room. High school graduation. Dad leaving halfway through to pick up Ashley after a failed job interview. Missing my Honor Society award. College graduation. The family arriving late, distracted, because Ashley's boyfriend had just dumped her. My first promotion. The dinner I hosted, where Mom spent the evening helping Ashley browse apartment listings on her phone. The pattern unfolds clearly now. Not isolated moments, but a design that's lasted years. The mountains of West Virginia rise and fade as I drive south. The phone stays silent until I cross into Virginia. Then, finally, a message from Mom. What do you mean you're going to North Carolina? 7 hours late. I don't respond. Let her wonder for once. Billy Joel comes on the radio, moving out. I turn the volume up, one hand steady on the wheel as the scenery shifts around me. By sunset, I reach Raleigh. The air feels different here, lighter, warmer. I park at my temporary apartment, haul up my overnight bag, and collapse on the bed, still dressed. For the first time in 28 years, no one knows exactly where I am. The thought feels thrilling and free. 3 weeks later, I can navigate my new kitchen in the dark. I've learned the quickest route to work and found a cafe that remembers my order. Small wins in a new world. Then, one Sunday evening, my phone lights up. A message from the family group chat, family party this weekend. Aunt Susan turns 60. Come early to help with the kids. Mom again. I stare at the screen. That same old weight pressing down. Have they truly forgotten? Or do they just choose to pretend? I don't reply. Saturday comes. I spend it unpacking my final boxes, lining books neatly on the shelves, framing photos of places, not people. At 3:17 p.m., the notifications start. Where are you? Mom texts in all caps. Everyone's asking about you. Dad follows. We saved you cherry pie. Ashley adds her predictable bribe. Then at 5:42 p.m., the final blow. I never thought you'd be this selfish. After everything we've done for you, your sister had to take care of all the kids herself while I cooked. Your father had to help arrange the tables. You've disappointed the entire family. I wait until after dinner, sitting on my new couch in my apartment, in my new city, before calling. Not texting. This conversation deserves a voice. Mom answers on the first ring. Finally decided to acknowledge your responsibilities? Mom, I say evenly. I moved to North Carolina almost a month ago. I told everyone. I sent messages. I can't come to Ohio just to set tables anymore. Well, you could have reminded us, she says sharply. Your sister was very disappointed. I'm sorry she was disappointed. How was Aunt Susan's party? Hectic, without you here to help. Your father had to, she continues, listing every inconvenience caused by my absence. Not once does she ask about my new apartment, my new job, or my new life. When she pauses to breathe, I try again. The new position's going well. I'm learning a lot. That's nice, dear. Listen, Ashley's thinking about expanding her online boutique and needs some startup money. Since you got that raise, we thought... I have to go, Mom. I interrupt. Someone's at the door. I hang up before she can respond. The silence in my apartment feels unfamiliar, almost sharp. Something inside me shifts. like a circuit tripping, a light going out. All my life, I've reached toward them, hoping to be seen. But they've only ever looked through me, not as a person, but as a resource. The realization lands not in anger, but in calm understanding. I've been waiting for something that doesn't exist. Their recognition of me as someone with needs, not just someone who meets theirs. I stare at my phone, waiting for the guilt, the urge to call back, to apologize, to make it right. But it doesn't come. Instead, I feel lighter. Like I've finally set down a weight I'd been carrying for years without noticing. For the first time, I don't call back. I don't apologize. I don't explain. The sun sets beyond my window, shadows stretching across my living room. My phone buzzes twice, then goes still. I don't check the messages. There's grief in this choice, mourning what should have been, the family I deserved but never had. Yet beneath that grief, there's something new, relief. The next morning, I wake to birds outside my window, and no new messages. My absence hasn't changed them. They've just redistributed my tasks, complaining as usual. I make coffee in the quiet kitchen, watching sunlight spill across golden walls. The world hasn't ended because I put myself first. Maybe that's the lesson I needed most. Morning light floods the hardwood floors as I step out of the shower. 2 years have passed since I left Ohio, since I walked away from the family that never truly saw me. 2 years of promotions, bonuses, and a life shaped entirely by my own choices. I towel my hair and meet my reflection in the mirror. At 30, my face has shed the old eagerness to please. My shoulders stand steady, no longer bent under unspoken expectations. Toby's nails click softly as he trots to the bathroom door, curls still damp from his bath. His head tilts in question, brown eyes bright. Yes, Your Majesty at breakfast next, I tell him, wrapping myself in a robe. My condo in North Hills feels settled now, unlike the temporary apartments of my past. The second bedroom is my office, lined with certificates, reminders of how success flourishes when no longer overshadowed by family chaos. The coffee machine hums to life as I prepare Toby's breakfast. His tail wags to the rhythm of our quiet routine. No buzzing phones. No group chat demands. Just peace. Park after work, I ask. Toby responds with an excited spin, making me laugh. I'll take that as a yes. The park has become our evening refuge, the place where Toby met Benji the Beagle 3 months ago, and where I met Jackson, Benji's owner. Jackson runs his fingers through dark hair streaked with early gray as he stands by the dog park fence later that afternoon. At 33, he carries the calm assurance of someone who creates things with purpose. His startup designs rehabilitation equipment that helps people recover from injuries, a mission I understand deeply through my own work in medical devices. There she is, he says as Toby and I approach. I was telling Benji you might ditch us for some thrilling medical emergency. And miss watching these 2 chase squirrels? Never. I unclip Toby's leash, smiling as he races toward Benji in a blur of pause and excitement. Jackson leans against the fence beside me, our shoulders almost touching. How was the Cooper presentation? They loved the new device specs, I reply, still getting used to sharing professional wins with someone who genuinely wants to hear them. How about the prototype testing? 3 successful trials today, he says, gesturing toward a nearby bench. Want to sit? We settle a few inches apart, a distance that somehow feels more personal than closeness. There's none of the old urge to fill silence or prove my worth, no anxious need to hold someone's attention. With Jackson, space feels peaceful, not precarious. The evening air carries the scent of grilled food from a nearby restaurant, reminding me that I skipped lunch for the Cooper meeting. Hungry? Jackson asks, noticing my expression. There's a new farm-to-table place that just opened. Supposed to be great. 40 minutes later, we're seated across from each other at a corner table, the restaurant's exposed brick and warm lighting forming a quiet, private atmosphere. I'm midway through describing a tricky client interaction when my phone buzzes. A notification flashes from the family group chat, silent for months. My hand stalls over my glass. The familiar tightness settles in my chest, that reflexive dread that family contact always seems to bring. Jackson glances at my phone, then back at me, but says nothing. That's what I appreciate most about him. He notices everything but never intrudes, never asks for explanations I'm not ready to give. I turn the phone face down. Sorry, I murmur. Just old patterns trying to make a comeback? He nods, understanding instantly. Old patterns do that sometimes. Doesn't mean we have to repeat them. No, I agree, picking up my fork again. We don't. The waiter brings our meals, and the conversation drifts to his latest design project. By the time dessert arrives, the unread message is already forgotten. 3 days later, my cousin Ashlyn lounges on my couch, Toby sprawled across her lap like a soft blanket. At 22, she's the only family member who's stayed in touch since I moved. This place is gorgeous. Willa, she says, admiring the room. Warm light spills across the furniture I chose piece by piece, a far cry from the mismatched hand-me-downs that filled my old Ohio apartment. Thanks, I say, handing her a glass of wine and settling into the armchair. How's the cross-country adventure going? Exhausting but amazing, she says, scratching Toby's ears. 12 states so far. Raleigh was worth the detour, though. It's good to see you. Happy, she says the last word like it's new, as if realizing it finally fits me. The Willa she knew before rarely had a reason to smile. I am happy, I admit, surprised at how natural it feels to say. Work's great. I've got friends. And Jackson? I pause, feeling my cheeks warm. He sounds wonderful, Ashlyn says, pulling out her phone. Mind if I take a picture? This room could be in a magazine. Go ahead, I laugh, watching as she frames the shot. Bookshelves, soft lighting, everything in quiet balance. While she types on her phone, I bring dinner to the coffee table. Pasta carbonara from a recipe Jackson shared. Simple, comforting, nothing like the elaborate meals I used to make for ungrateful family dinners. Posted, Ashlyn announces, showing me the screen. The photo looks cozy and inviting, but it's her caption that catches my breath. At my cousin Willa's home, she's got her own place. A great boyfriend and a life worth admiring. That's really sweet of you, I say, touched by her sincerity. What neither of us expects is how fast that photo begins to spread through the family group chat. By morning, Ashlyn's phone is filled with notifications, likes, comments, and messages from relatives who'd barely noticed me before. This is strange, Ashlyn mutters over breakfast, scrolling through her screen. Aunt Karen wants to know what neighborhood you live in. Uncle Rob's asking if you bought or rent. I sip my coffee, unsurprised. They never cared this much when I got promoted. Oh, it gets better, she says, pausing mid-scroll. Your mom commented, so lovely to see how well our Willa is doing. As if she's been part of my life at all. But that old hollow ache doesn't appear this time. Instead, I feel distant, as though watching strangers talk about someone who only shares my name. That afternoon, Ashlyn shows me a screenshot that makes my eyebrows lift. It's a private message from my sister to my mother. Did you see Willa's place? Looks expensive. You should ask about her finances. Remember those bonuses? Maybe she could help with our situation. Ashlyn's expression tightens. Your sister hasn't changed. No, I reply evenly. She hasn't. That evening, after dropping Ashlyn at her hostel, I tell Jackson about the sudden online attention while we walk the dogs under the soft glow of streetlights. Are you going to respond to any of them? He asks, his tone careful. I'm not reaching out first, I say after a pause. But if they contact me directly, I'll decide how to handle it. Jackson nods and squeezes my hand. Your boundaries matter, Willa. Keep them firm. I intend to, I answer, returning the pressure. They only get what I choose to give now. At 11:43 that night, as I drift towards sleep, my phone lights up with a message from my mother. How have you been, honey? Your father and I miss you so much. Before I can process that, another notification arrives. This one from Ashley. So happy you're doing well. Your place looks amazing. My heart rate quickens. 2 years of silence and now this flood of affection? Then the final message appears. We already booked flights from Columbus to Raleigh. We'll arrive around noon tomorrow. The kids can't wait to see their aunt. I stare at the screen, caught between disbelief and a faint, foolish spark of hope. Maybe they've changed. Maybe they finally see me. But the timing, right after Ashlyn's post and says otherwise, my phone rings. Jackson's name flashes. I answer, voice steadier than expected. They're coming tomorrow, I say plainly. All of them. Flight's already booked, he exhales sharply. That's sudden. Very. What are you thinking? I think for a moment. That they wouldn't be coming if Ashlyn hadn't posted that photo. Probably not, he admits. If you feel ready, see them. Just don't let them guilt you again. When I hang up, I realize my hands are steady. The fear that used to control me has been replaced with calm resolve. They're entering my world now, the one I built without them. And this time, I set the terms. I adjust the last throw pillow on my sofa, running my hand over the smooth fabric. The room is flawless, every surface shining, every detail intentional. This is my space, my home, my rules. The doorbell rings at 12:15. I count to 10 before answering, a small act of control that steadies my quickened pulse. Willa? Mom steps forward, pulling me into a tight hug. Her familiar perfume, the same one she's worn since I was little, fills the air. Oh, sweetheart, it's been too long. 2 years and 3 months, to be precise. 2 years of birthdays, holidays, and milestones passed without a single call. I return her hug evenly, neither distant nor warm. Dad stands behind her, holding a box. Hey, kiddo. His one-armed hug is brief, his gaze already shifting toward the television on my wall. Game's on today. Bengals are playing. Ashley appears next, her kids darting past her into my condo before I can greet them. Your place is beautiful, she says, brushing my cheek with an air kiss. The girls are so excited to see their aunt. The same girls who barely know me because their mother never cared to keep in touch. We brought cake, Mom announces, taking the box from Dad. Chocolate, your favorite. Actually, strawberry shortcake has been my favorite since I was 7. I can't tell if she's forgotten or simply doesn't care to remember. Thank you, I say smoothly. Let me make some tea. From the kitchen, I hear the TV click on, followed by Dad's satisfied grunt as the game starts. The girls' laughter echoes as they race around, their sneakers pounding the hardwood floors. Out of the corner of my eye, I see one of them pick up the crystal paperweight Jackson gave me for my birthday. Amelia, I call, calm but firm. Please put that back where you found it. Ashley laughs, uneasy. Oh, they're just exploring. Kids, you know? I know they should respect other people's things, I reply, setting the kettle on the stove. In my home, we don't touch what isn't ours. Her smile falters slightly as her daughter returns the paperweight and scurries off. Mom wanders into the kitchen, running a finger along the granite countertop. This must have cost a fortune, she says, the disapproval in her voice unmistakable. Your place is so extravagant. I pour hot water over the tea bags. I like my home. Ashley joins in, leaning on the doorframe. The company must pay you really well. What's the salary range for someone in your position these days? I arrange cookies on a plate, answering slowly. Competitive. But are we talking 6 figures? Her tone is light, but her curiosity is sharp. Do you get bonuses? Stock options? The benefits are excellent, I reply evenly, lifting the tray. Shall we sit in the living room? Ashley's questions persist as we sip tea, 401k matches, mortgage payments, down payment size, each one crafted to gauge my finances. I answer politely but vaguely. With every deflection, her fingers tap faster, her smile tightening. Dad, I say finally during a pause in her interrogation, how's the volunteer work with the Youth Baseball League? The shift works. For 10 minutes, we talk about safe topics. Dad's coaching, a cousin's new baby, Mom's garden club. I notice Ashley's shoulders stiffen each time the conversation drifts away from money. When her oldest daughter knocks over a vase, spilling water across my coffee table, I rise immediately. Girls, I say firmly, in this house we sit calmly on the furniture. We don't run or jump on the sofa. Willa, Mom interjects, her voice carrying that familiar edge of correction. They're just being children. I know, I reply evenly, handing each girl a small book from my shelf. And children need boundaries. Here, these were my favorites when I was your age. Mom's mouth falls open, unaccustomed to me setting the terms. This time, I let the silence sit. Ashley's smile has disappeared, replaced by a tight line of frustration. You've changed, Mom finally says, setting down her teacup with a soft clink. I have, I reply evenly. The room grows quiet except for the sound of the baseball game and the soft rustle of pages as the girls surprisingly start reading. Dad shifts uneasily in his chair. Ashley exchanges a look with Mom, one I know too well. It's the silent cue that it's time to reveal the real reason for their visit. Mom leans forward, her practiced sigh filling the silence. Willa, sweetheart, Ashley's been having a hard time. And there it is, the setup. The boutique, Ashley jumps in, her voice carefully emotional. After 5 years in retail, I thought I was ready. I had the experience, the customers. The story unfolds like a script rehearsed on the drive over. Ashley opened her own boutique after years of working for someone else. The initial investment came from my parents. The business failed within 8 months. The personal guarantee she signed left her owing $39,000 in debt. My parents' retirement fund is already strained from covering part of the startup costs. They all lean forward now, a united front. Mom's eyes full of concern, Dad's face serious, Ashley's lip trembling perfectly on cue. "You're doing so well," Mom says, her voice dipping into that persuasive tone she reserves for when she wants something. "You could sell your condo and help your sister." Dad clears his throat. "You've got a boyfriend with money. You don't need 2 places. They've been here less than an hour and already know about Jackson. Someone's done their homework." "Think about the girls," Ashley adds, glancing at her children. "Help your sister and they'll have their mom back." I can barely sleep with all this stress. A hollow feeling spreads in my chest. Familiar, but different this time. It's not sadness. It's clarity. I see them clearly now, the performance for exactly what it is. Their sudden reappearance after years of silence, the warm greetings, the questions about my finances, all building up to this moment. A memory flashes, me standing in their kitchen announcing my promotion, only for it to fade into nothing. Another, me texting about my move and getting photos of Ashley's kids eating pie instead. Years of being overlooked until I became useful again. Ashley mistakes my silence for hesitation. "It's not like we're asking for charity," she insists. "I'll pay you back eventually." "This is what family does," Mom adds, reaching for my hand. "We help each other in tough times." Dad fidgets again, eyes flicking between the TV and me. "Your mother and I won't be around forever, you know." I take a slow breath, feeling the weight of their expectations pressing down. But for the first time, I don't fold under it. Something in me has shifted during these 2 years apart, something solid and new. "I'll think about it," I say calmly. Their united front begins to crack. Ashley's face flushes with frustration. Mom's smile falters, unaccustomed to anything but my immediate agreement. Dad focuses on the game again, sensing tension in the air. "What's there to think about?" Ashley demands. "We're family!" "Yes," I think, looking at these 3 people who share my blood but never truly saw me. We're family. But now I finally understand what that word means, and what it doesn't. Willa sits still, her calm exterior hiding the storm beneath. 2 years of distance have given her clarity, and now facing them again, she feels the familiar pressure of their expectations settling over her shoulders. They wait for her answer with the certainty of people who have never considered being told no. "I've tried to help before," Willa said finally, her voice calm and steady. "For years I've tried to be heard, to be loved. All I ever received in return was silence and expectations." Her gaze moved from her mother to her father, then settled on Ashley. "I'm done." Ashley's cheeks flushed. "But we're family." "You can't just—" "That word," Willa interrupted, cutting her sister off for the first time she could remember, should mean care and respect, not obligation or debt. The words left her lips with a confidence she hadn't known she possessed. If being family means I keep paying for everyone's mistakes, then no, I'm not part of that kind of family anymore. Her father shifted uneasily, his mouth opening and closing, forming words that never came. The silence between them grew heavy, her mother's eyes filled with tears, carefully timed to fall at just the right moment. "After everything we've done for you, you're really choosing money over your family?" Ashley said, her voice rising. "Remember when I helped you move into your first apartment? The birthdays? The Christmases? Mom and Dad won't be around forever, Willa," her mother added thickly. "Is this how you want things to end?" Willa recognized each phrase, every emotional weapon they used. It was a performance she'd seen countless times, a well-rehearsed routine. And for the first time, she could see it clearly. "We wouldn't be asking if we weren't desperate," her father finally said, a rare contribution that marked their last move. Willa took a steady breath. "When I got my promotion 2 years ago, I told everyone at lunch. No one looked up. I sent a message about moving to Raleigh. Everyone read it, but no one replied." Her tone stayed calm, recounting facts, not feelings. "Last year, on my birthday, my phone didn't ring once. When I called, Mom, you said you were busy helping Ashley with her boutique." Her family sat in tense silence as Willa continued. 3 Christmases ago, I spent 4 days helping Ashley wrap inventory, 2 summers ago. I used my vacation days to watch the kids while she went to that fashion expo in Cincinnati. For years, I've been your babysitter, your backup wallet, your convenient helper. Her eyes stayed firm. And now, after 2 years without a single meaningful call, you're here because you need money. Ashley opened her mouth, but Willa spoke over her. The last time we talked, Mom, you hung up when I tried to tell you about my new job. That's when I realized what I really was to this family. She stood, walking toward the door. I think that's enough for today. Her family froze, caught off guard by the finality in her tone. They gathered their things quietly, avoiding her eyes. Her mother clutched her purse like armor. Her father moved stiffly, as though the space felt unfamiliar. Ashley guided her children toward the exit, their earlier excitement muted by the tension. At the threshold, Ashley paused. I didn't think you'd turn so cold, she said, the words meant to sting. Willa met her gaze. I'm not cold. I'm clear. She closed the door softly, the click echoing through her apartment. Standing still, Willa breathed deeply, feeling a long-held weight lift from her chest. No tears came. No urge to yell or break things, only quiet certainty that she'd done what was necessary for herself. Her phone buzzed, the first of many expected messages. Without looking, she silenced it. For once, she felt no need to explain, no impulse to defend herself. The calm of not responding settled over her like a warm blanket. Later that evening, she saw an email saying her family had already flown back to Ohio, cutting their visit short. Over the next few days, her inbox filled with messages, her mother's pleas, her father's awkward attempts at reconciliation. Ashley kept switching between apologies and accusations. The following week, cousins and aunts she rarely interacted with began sending casual, just checking in messages, their sudden concern clearly insincere. Willa replied to each with short, courteous responses, turning down any invitation to discuss what had happened. 2 weeks later, Ashley sent one last email. It listed, in detached and factual language, all the financial problems their family would face without Willa's help. The boutique would shut down. Their parents might need to sell their home. The children would struggle. Willa read it once, then quietly archived it. That message confirmed what she already knew. Nothing had changed. They still saw her as a financial solution, not as family. Closing her laptop, she clipped Toby's leash and left her phone on the counter before heading out for their evening walk. Outside, the North Carolina evening felt warm and alive, scented with magnolias and new beginnings. For the first time in years, she moved without the familiar weight of responsibility pressing on her shoulders. A month later, she was back to her usual rhythm. Jackson arrived right on time at 7, the golden sunset spilling across her condo. He didn't call or text, just 2 soft knocks that Toby recognized immediately. Ready? He asked, studying her face gently. He didn't ask about her family or how she felt after the confrontation. The absence of questions felt like quiet comfort. More than you know, Willa said, taking Toby's leash from its hook. At Jackson's home, the air carried the aroma of baked salmon and herbs, his grandmother's recipe he once mentioned. Willa watched him move smoothly between stove and counter, plating food with quiet focus. Benji and Toby lay curled on the kitchen rug, their shapes forming a peaceful balance of fur and stillness. They ate mostly in silence. But it wasn't the tense silence Willa had grown up with, full of judgment and caution. It was gentle, natural. The clink of cutlery, a soft hum of appreciation, the faint patting of paws across the floor. After dinner, as Willa rinsed dishes, she began describing the encounter with her family. Her voice was steady, distant, as if recounting a story she'd watched, not lived. You did what was right for you, Jackson said simply, drying a plate and setting it away. 2 years earlier, Willa might have defended herself, listing old wrongs, explaining her reasons, building a case for why she wasn't to blame. But this time she only nodded. The relief of not needing to justify herself felt light, freeing. Later, they sat on the back porch while the dogs roamed the yard. The cool evening air carried a quiet clarity. Willa realized that her value was never tied to her usefulness. All those years of overextending herself, believing that being needed equaled being loved, it had been a mistake. She thought about her morning walks with Toby, once rushed, now peaceful. Her recent promotion to regional director, accepted without guilt. The dinner club she'd joined, where talk of books, politics, and TV shows replaced scorekeeping and pretense. You know what's strange? She said softly as twilight settled around them. For years I thought family meant blood. People you're bound to. Now I see it's about choice. A memory surfaced, the photo card on her fridge. Her, Jackson and friends at the lake laughing genuinely. No forced smiles or matching outfits like her family's portraits, just real people choosing to be together. Months later, while watching the sunset from her balcony, Willa's phone rang. Her mother's name lit the screen, the first call since the confrontation. Willa, her mother began, her tone uncertain. I owe you an apology. We all do. Willa inhaled deeply, then exhaled. There was no panic, no desperate longing, only calm. I appreciate that, she said evenly. I need some time. Of course, her mother replied quickly. Take all the time you need. When you're ready, if you're ever ready, we'd like to try again. On your terms. Willa didn't rush to respond. There was no need to fix or explain anything anymore. I'll think about it, she said, and ended the call. The next evening, she and Jackson sat on his patio, watching their dogs chase each other through the grass. The sunset painted everything in soft gold. Jackson noticed her faint smile. What? He asked. For the first time, she said quietly, I'm not holding my breath. The words lingered in the air. Simple. Honest enough, tonight was peaceful, and for Willa, that was all she needed. If you were in Willa's place, if your family ignored you for years but came back only for money, what would you do? A. Help them out of family loyalty. B. Refuse, but stay in touch. C. Cut them off completely to protect your peace. Comment your choice below, because sometimes the hardest part isn't forgiving them. It's accepting that they may never change.